Good morning, sir.
हा मला कोस्ट करा.
Yes, sir.
Okay, madam. I am audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
आता this is free version or licensed version?
License version, sir.
म्हणजे आता प्रॉब्लेम असं समजा अचानक जर लाईट गेली, पॉवर फेल्युअर झाला आणि मी पडलो तर परत मला प्रॉब्लेम येऊ शकतो का? म्हणजे कसं करणार आहे तुम्ही?
नाही सर, काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही ना.
म्हणजे होणार
हा, जॉईन केला ना तुम्ही, रिजॉईन की जॉईन व्हाल तुम्ही लगेच.
जर समजा प्रॉब्लेम आला तर मग तुम्हाला म्हणजे 100 पेक्षा जर जास्त पार्टिसिपंट झाले तर त्याचा थोडा येऊ शकतो प्रॉब्लेम.
युट्यूब लाईव्ह ची लिंक शेअर केली सर आपण.
किती झाले रजिस्ट्रेशन?
150 प्लस झालेत सर.
तसं दोन्ही युट्यूब पण त्यांना हे करा, लोकांना पाठवून द्या.
हो हो हो, दोन्ही पण लिंक आपण शेअर केलेले आहेत.
ओके मॅडम. मला हे केलंय का को होस्ट?
हा सर, को होस्ट केलेले आहे तुम्ही.
मी शेअर करून बघतो आणि
ओके चालेल. हो हो चालेल.
दिसतो का मॅडम?
येस सर, येस सर.
स्क्रोल होतो?
येस येस.
ओके ओके, ठीक आहे. आता तुम्हाला तुमचं स्क्रीन करायचंय का?
हो सर, थोडं इनॉग्रेशन फंक्शन आहे.
येस मॅडम. आता स्टॉप कुठं? इथं ना, स्टॉप. यस.
हा, खाली हे सर.
झालं?
हो हो झालं सर.
ओके मॅडम. ओके, मग बरोबर 11ला सुरू करू आपण.
हो चालेल सर.
ओके मॅडम, थँक्यू.
ओके.
लॉग इन करून
मला आवाज काय ना का झूम मीटिंग.
Hello, dear participant, please mute your mic.
आमच्या इथे तुला कॉलेजबद्दल माहिती आहे ना, H1 दाखवून दिलं का? आमच्याकडे तुझं प्लेसमेंट 100%.
गुड मॉर्निंग खरंच सर.
गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
गुड मॉर्निंग सर. सध्या काय ऑफलाईन सुरू आहे सर का ऑनलाईन?
सर सध्या आता तसं तर फ्री आहे सध्या. एक पालक आले होते, त्यांच्याशी बोलत थांबलो होतो म्हणून थोडंसं. नाही अदरवाईज मी लवकर पावणे जॉईन झालो होतो.
नाही नाही म्हणजे कॉलेज ऑफलाईन मध्ये आहे का म्हणजे फॅकल्टीला?
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा. असं नाही सर, सध्या आम्ही सुरू नाही केलं. आमच्याकडे अजून ऑनलाईनच सुरू आहे.
ऑनलाईनच सुरू आहे.
ऑनलाईन सुरू आहे.
तुम्हाला जावं लागत असेल HOD प्रिन्सिपलना?
नाही सर, आम्ही सगळे स्टाफ कॉलेजला येतो सर. आम्ही
दररोज सगळे फॅकल्टी येतात?
सगळे फॅकल्टी आम्ही कॉलेजला येतो. कारण उद्देश काय त्यांचा आमचा की त्याच्यामुळे म्हणजे सगळे जे कामं आहेत ना आमचे ते व्यस्त होतात. दुसरी मेन गोष्ट काय सर, आमचं ऍडमिशन आम्हाला करावं लागतं सगळ्या बऱ्याचशा ऍडमिशनचं काम. ते घरी बसून नाही होत.
हो ना, नाही बरोबर. ते फिजिकली
मध्ये
आपल्या
त्याच्यामुळे आम्हाला स्वतः बरेचसे त्यात प्रयत्न करावे लागतात. आणि आमचे स्टाफ फार इंथुसियास्टिक आहे, सगळेजण फार मेहनत करतात. घरी असताना त्यामुळे आम्ही सगळे बोलून, आणि सगळं फार एरिया सेफ आहे सर, सगळा एरिया इथे म्हणजे हिल स्टेशन सारखं असं वाटतं, एकदम छान एरिया आहे. इथे काही केसेस पण नाही कोविडच्या काही नाही वगैरे, सगळं छान आहे. फक्त कसं आहे आता पालकांना, आता मुलांना बोलायचं तर तेवढं गव्हर्नमेंटचं रिस्ट्रिक्शन असतं, त्यामुळे थोडंसं चाललंय आमचा विचार चाललाय सुरू करायचा. थोडंसं आता हे जरा थर्ड वेव्ह चाललंय, थोडं काही दिवस वेट बघू,
थोडे दिवस बघून गव्हर्नमेंटच्या गाईडलाईन प्रमाणे करावं लागेल.
भेट झाली, बरं वाटलं आज.
हो ना, नाही चांगलं वाटलं.
आणि त्याला विषय पण खूप चांगला आहे, जे आता लोकांनी आता जे जॉईन होतील रिसर्च वर्क करता त्यांना खूप फायदा पडेल.
चांगलं तुम्ही म्हणजे हे चांगलं उद्देश चांगला आहे तुमचा. रिसर्चच्या साठी तुम्ही बरेच सिरीज ऑफ वेबिनार ठेवलेले ना, म्हणजे
आमचे माणूस आहे थोडेसे.
गुड इनिशिएटिव्ह, आणि कॉलेजचं पण ब्रँडिंग पण होऊन जाते ह्याच्याने.
येस सर थोडंसं त्याला चांगलं होऊन जातं कॉलेज, बरोबर आहे. आणि पुन्हा कसं आहे, थोडंसं माझं हवं की आता बरेच लोक एमई झाले आहेत, त्यांनी पीएचडी करावं. पीएचडी करताना आजकाल काय झालं, पीएचडीची फी एवढी झाली लॅबची, त्याच्यामुळे त्यांना जर चांगल्या ठिकाणी मिळालंय तर फायदा होऊन जाईल.
पीएचडी आपल्या युजीच्या मुलांना पण फायदा होऊन जातो हळूहळू. आता कसं कल्चर सगळीकडेच हे इनकल्केट करायला पाहिजे ना मुलांना.
येस सर असं फायनान्सच्या मुलांनाही त्यांना ऍक्च्युअली प्रोजेक्ट करतानाच कळतं की आपल्याला काय करायला असेल,
काय करावं लागतं.
त्यामुळे मी सांगितलं सरांना की सगळे आपले फायनान्सची मुलं आहेत त्यांना पण जॉईन करून घ्या, पीजीची मुलं त्यांना पण जॉईन करून सांगितलं. बघू आता कसं होतं. सरांना मी दिल्या होत्या चिंचोले सरांना.
येस सर येस.
चला सर, तुम्ही आता एएमएस इकडे आले नवीन, आपली मागच्या वेळेस भेट झाली होती आपली.
जेएसपी मला होतं त्यावेळेस, आता एसएसएमएस ला आलो. भेटू या आल्यावर इकडे सर.
नक्की सर. ओके सर.
येस सर, ओके, थँक्यू.
हॅलो चिंचोले सर. हॅलो.
हाँ यस मैडम.
चला स्टार्ट.
यस मैडम, स्टार्ट कर.
Dear participant, please mute your mic.
मॅडम येतोय तुमचा.
Hello, sir, I am audible.
हो मॅडम, तुमचा आवाज येतोय, करा सुरू.
Okay, sir. A very good morning, one and all. Welcome to our today's special guest, Dr. D.G. Bhalke sir. Welcome to our principal sir and all HOD, and welcome to all participants. Welcome, sir. First of all, on behalf of the Sharat Chandra Pawar College of Engineering, Otur, I, Professor Monica Rokde, would like to thank one and all for joining this webinar on how to do literature survey. I feel great proud to say that such a webinar, conferences, workshop, STTP, guest lectures has been organized by our college for over 12 years and has chronicled huge success each year. The college organizes such activity to enlighten the young minds and promote the participation of students at all levels. The motto behind such activity is to bridge the gap between students, industries, and academics from multidiscipline. We will begin our session with lamp lighting ceremony. Light fade away darkness, light symbolize knowledge and wisdom free will. Now we will have our traditional auspicious lamp lighting ceremony as a tribute to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. Mother, we pray for your blessing with all humanity. I request to everyone to close your eyes and try to concentrate to inner power and inner energy. Let us bow our heads and put ourselves in the holiness of the God to give us more stability and development in our life. For that, we are chanting of Mata Saraswati Vandana. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu बुद्धिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः.
या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा. शुक्लां ब्रह्मविचारसारपरमा आद्यां जगद्व्यापिनीं वीणा पुस्तकधारिणीम् अभयदा जाड्यान्धकारापहा. हस्ते स्फाटिकमालिकां विदधतीं पद्मासने संस्थिता वन्दे तां परमेश्वरीं भगवतीं बुद्धिप्रदां शारदा.
On behalf of our college, I bid a very warm welcome to the entire renowned speaker who took out their valuable time and joined us today to be a part of this webinar. I welcome our expert speaker and guest for the webinar, Dr. D.G. Bhalke sir. He is working as a professor and head Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering at AISSM College of Engineering, Pune. He received PhD degree in Electronics and Communication Engineering from National Institute of Technology in 2016. ME degree in Electronics Engineering from Shivaji University in 2005 and BE degree in Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering from Aurangabad in 1998. His current research areas are audio and speech processing, microwave communication, and signal processing. He is having more than 22 years of teaching experience. He is a member of International Association of Engineers, member of Indian Society for Technical Education, fellow member of Institution of Engineers, member of Institution of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, and senior member of IEEE. He has presented and published more than 45 papers in international journal, international conference, and national conference, and 2 patents to his credit. Currently, 4 students are pursuing PhD under his guidance. He handled many administrative responsibilities such as head of department, overall NAC coordinator of the institute, organizing secretary for IEEE International Conference and National Conference, head and startup and innovation cell, VLAB coordinator, NBA coordinator, NAC ambassador under Parmarsh scheme sanctioned by UGC, and he delivered 50 plus guest lecture on NAC and NBA at various institutes, and also delivered guest lectures at various institutes on advanced DSP and application, signal and system, digital signal processing, microwave engineering, speech processing, signal processing, MATLAB tools, speech and audio processing at various colleges. He is also working as a member of BOS ENTC Solapur University, Pune. Welcome, sir. We are honored to have you with us, sir. We are grateful to our today's speaker of the webinar for accepting our invitation and becoming a resource person of today's event. Now, we will virtually felicitate our today's expert speaker and guest of honor, Dr. D.G. Bhalke, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
I would also like to offer my regards to all the participants who made this webinar functional in such a hard times. We are truly delighted with your presence. Now, I call upon Professor M.G. Chinchole, sir, Student Development Officer and Head of Department of ENTC Engineering, to address the audience. Hello, sir.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, madam. Good morning, sir, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on how to do literature survey. Thank you for joining us. Myself, Professor Mahesh Chinchole, SDO and Head of ENTC Department at Sharat Chandra Pawar College of Engineering, Otur, Pune. Our college is one of the leading educational institutes in Pune district. Today, we have respected Dr. D.G. Bhalke, sir, as a speaker. Madam has given the brief introduction about this, sir. Welcome, sir, and thank you for accepting our invitation and joining with us. The agenda for today's webinar is, thank you, sir. The agenda for today's webinar is, before starting your research work, literature survey is very important. So how to start your literature survey as per of research is very important. And this is the today's main theme of this webinar. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few instructions for the participants so that you can participate in today's webinar. We will take a screenshot as an example of attendance. You will have the opportunity to submit your questions in the chat box. You may send your questions during the presentation as well. We will collect all these questions and will address at the end of this webinar in question answer session. A recorded version of this webinar will be available over YouTube in few days. Once again, thank you to all for joining with us. Thank you, sir. Over to Rokde, madam.
Thank you, sir. Now, I request our respected principal, sir, Dr. Jiu Kharat, sir, to guide us. Hello, sir.
Good morning to one and all. On the behalf of Sharat Chandra Pawar College of Engineering, I welcome all the participants And special welcome to the Dr. Bhalke sir. Our host has given introduction about the Bhalke sir, his publication and his membership of so many associations and his lot of work. But I want to introduce him in 1, 2 or 3 sentences. I met him in the first time with Dr. Bormane sir, and in his cabin for 15 minutes, I found that he is the working hand of Bormane sir. He is the actual worker. He has done lot of work in JSPM and in current college also. He's working. He's doing lot of work. He's doing himself. That is the more important thing. So that's why he will contribute a lot of things, I think, in the today's webinar. Now, this regarding this today's webinar, we have taken a lot of series of webinars. This series about the research. Now, this is very important, not for the staff members who want to do his PhD or not for the PG student. It is also important for UG students also. Because in research work, very important thing is that the literature survey. I have my own experience. Time may not permit me to share all these things, but I will say that if you complete the research, that means literature properly and topic selection, your 50% research work is completed. For example, PhD, your 50% work is completed if you have proper literature and topic selection. Otherwise, years and years lost, and we'll be moving here and there and searching these and these things, and that goes to hell. So it's my request to all the participants that this is very important. How to select the topic for that literature survey is very important. And in literature survey, sometimes what happens, still I will take 2 more. What happens, sometimes we start the working, and after doing a lot of work, we find that already this work has been done. Or sometimes our direction has been in the wrong, our direction is in the wrong direction. And because of all these things, a lot of time has been wasted. It's my personal experience that most of the people, including myself, has done their research work in 1 year only. Actually, person will work for 1 year in his research, but when to bring that 1 year, that is very important. So if you have proper literature survey, then that year will come very quickly, and you can get your degree, PhD degree, very quickly. And this PhD, it does not mean that you have done the research. It means that you know how to do the research, and after that, a lot of research can be done. PhD is nothing but it is the qualification that you are able to do the research work. You have not done the research work, you can do the research work. So a lot of work can be done after your completion of the PhD. For that, very important literature work. So I think that I will not take more time. So I request all the participants to be very careful. And today we are having very good speaker. And again, we have series of the speakers. We'll getting lot of things up to the that fund, how to get the fund, like that. We have arranged a lot of webinars. So the first webinar, and again, I'm very much thankful to the Bharke sir, and I hand over the mic to the host. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. With all those words, I request to Dr. D.G. Bhalke sir to start the session. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Just let me share my screen.
Yes, sir.
Madam, screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay, I will start now. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank the management of the institute, Principal Jeev Kharat sir, then convener of this program, and my friend Chinsode sir, then the coordinators of this webinar, Gaikwad Shivaji sir, then Rokde madam, Neeta madam, then Jadhav sir, and the Kharat sir for inviting me to deliver my talk on how to do literature survey. And I also would like to congratulate this college, Sharad Chandra Pawar College of Engineering, Dumbarwadi, for receiving the Best College Award and arranging this series of webinar on the research and development. So which is need of hours for UG student, PG student, researcher, as well as the faculty member. They are going to cover so many topics in this particular webinar series. I think all of you can in-cash about this webinar series. And now starting with this topic, Principal Kharat sir has rightly said, if you do a good kind of literature survey, your 50% of the research work will complete here only. because most of the things are related to the literature survey. Identifying the problem in your research area is the most important thing, and identifying this research problem is based on your literature review. And literature review is also the systematic. It is not like that you search any paper, download any paper just to summarize the paper and just to identify any topic and or write the objective. Is not a literature review. There is a systematic way or the scientific way of doing a literature review. And if you can understand about scientific method of literature review, so definitely that is going to help you to identify right kind of problem. Once if you can identify right kind of problem, then definitely you can able to provide the solution, and you can able to come with some wonderful inventions or the wonderful solutions for your the research problem, and accordingly you can able to complete your research work. So now outline of my presentations are first before going to literature survey, because literature survey is one of the important and integral part of research. So we also should know what is the research and why we should undertake research. Then because most of the thing people are thinking that research is done only for completion of PhD or for getting promotions, etc. So it is not like that. So research is something, it is different, which is integral part of our life. If you do the such kind of the research, so it will motivate our teaching learning process, it will increase our confidence, it will increase our knowledge, it will help for the society, and many so many things are there related to the research. But that should be the integral part of our life. It is not only a teaching learning, or it is not only for the PhD, for in day-to-day life also we are doing research and making or drawing a lot of conclusions. The next, what is a literature review? That we will see what is literature review. Then another important component, once if you do literature review, that we have to write the review paper, or that is going to become one of the important part of your PhD thesis. That is one of the chapter is contributing to your thesis is of the literature review. So how to write that literature review is also very important. Then apart from that, so there are a lot of searching techniques are there. Most of the time we are based only on the Google and we are searching and we are drawing conclusion, but there are other scientific ways of searching techniques are there. I will go through some of the searching technique. I hope it will be very much useful to you people to proceed or the carry out your the research work. Now first is what is a research? So basically what is research? Re and search, there are the two words are there. So whatever the existing the theories are available, so that existing theory we are researching again, so we are reading it again. So that will help to generate new knowledge for us, and also we are going to validate the existing knowledge. So it is nothing but a systematic, rigorous investigation of a situation or the problem. Systematic, rigorous investigation of a situation or the problem in order to generate new knowledge or validate existing knowledge is called as a research. So we want to validate the existing knowledge. So what is the present existence knowledge is available? So based on that, we are going to find out the new path. So that is called as the research. Because suppose most of the people are thinking directly when they are submitting their synopsis for a PhD, directly they are submitting their topic that I want to do the research in this area, or they will ask some expert and they will take their opinion. Sir, can you suggest me some of the title for the PhD work? So they will tell based on their experience that you can do this area. But basically you have to find out the title of your research work based on the existing knowledge, because already a lot of people have contributed their life. So they have spent that is a whole life for carrying out the research or proposing some theories or the solutions in their particular areas. So really, if you want to continue or if you want to do, so first you should know what is the existing things are available. So what are the limitations of the existing things? So what theories are proposed? So based on that, you should able to undertake that particular problem and you can continue your research in that particular area. So the purpose of the research is to validate the existing knowledge, whether that is a true, whether that is a not true, whether there are the some agreements are there or the disagreements are there. So that you have to find out what are the strength of that research, what are the weakness of the result. So every time it does not mean that the research which have been done by the lot of people are it is a true. It is not every time it is that is true. Sometimes it may be false. So you can carry out research and you can prove that the research which is done by that particular group of the people or that particular person is not, it is true. So that theory is not applicable. So accordingly, you can make your the judgment based on that. That can also be called as a research. So accordingly, you have to validate. So whether that is true or not, if it is true, you find out its weaknesses, you find out limitations of the existing research, and you can continue. So basically, the research is required for that purpose. So another, it is an endeavor to discover new or the collate old facts, etc., by the scientific study of the subject or by the course of the critical investigation. So there are many things are there which are not, that is a true. So even the people are that are depending on those theories, but that theories are not applicable nowadays. So that accordingly you can make your judgment that the research done by this and this or whatever the theory are applicable or they are not true. So accordingly, you can do the critical investigation on that. You can put your comment by doing the research. So research is required for that. So basically, again, the why we should do the research. We do not do the research for only our promotion or the PhD work or for any other purpose. So basically, the world is based on this research work. We are enjoying this world. So because of the research, we are making life of the human being very comfortable. We are extending the life of the universe because of this research. So everyone, every that is a generation are contributing some, that is a delta kind of the research in different areas. So that delta is adding, and accordingly it is making life of the human being comfortable. So if you look at that is a history of the this earth or the human being. So that time you imagine, so what kind of the facilities were available, and now what kind of the facilities are available. Even you take example of this the vaccination, COVID vaccine, when the corona came into the globe. So that time it was a lot of the panic situation was there in the world. Now because of lot of research and a lot of thousands or the crores of people have involved into that, and they could come with some vaccination. And even the lot of people are doing the research on the vaccination. So how it will affect on the child people or the adult people or the on other pregnant women, etc. So every time it is a continuous process, it is never ending, because even you have done a very good piece of work, again somebody can take that good piece of work. So definitely in every work there would be some limitations will be there. So that the research will help to, that is a public trust on your some available facts. So that is the most important. So we are keeping our that is a trust because of the research, and its output is essentially for the healthy modern society. So it is for the development of healthy society. So which is one of the for the social cause. So therefore research is an integral part of the life. So all the research enterprise is a self-correcting. So this regulation occasionally needs help. So even a lot of enterprise are there, industries are there, organization are there. So unless until they are doing research, they are finding gap in their the present progress. So they cannot able to progress. So this is even in every department or the every organization. So the research and development department is there, which is taking care of this and which is used for the quality improvement in every areas. So if you want to improve yourself, so research should be integral part of your life. Then over the years, research institutions, professional societies, governments have established several protocols, code of conduct, norms, and principles to enhance that trust in the research institutions, funders, producers, publishers, and the products. So it can be put on that. So accordingly, people can invest a lot of money into to do such kind of research. Then accordingly, you can enjoy. Nowadays, you can see that all the products which are being developed or the new products are coming. So they're coming from the modern, that is the countries like the US or the China or the Japan. So if they release some new kind of the product in the market, so they can able to attract all, that is the economy from whole world to them. So they're becoming the richest in the country. So it is only because of the research. You see the university ranking are there. So that is based on the research work, because even our Indian IITs are not in the first 500 ranks, because we are lagging in the research. So research is the most important part, and you can become the richer because of this research, and that US and other those kind of the countries. So they can able to invest a lot of money in the research, and once if they do such kind of the research and launch some product, and they can attract a lot of money. So even the people, those countries, modern countries are going on the Mars, they're going on the moon, or they are studying the different planet. They are trying to find out some resources. Once if they become successful, then again they will become the richest in the globe. So that is the research is going to help in all the ways. It is not required only in the teaching, learning, or the PhD, but it should be integral part of everything. Then you will become most successful person in your life. Okay. Now the research design, basically there is a systematic plan. The first, there should be some research planning. Why you want to carry out the research? You have to identify that particular topic. So you should ask question yourself why this kind of the research is required. So what it is going to draw the conclusion, how it is going to benefit for the society, how it is going to benefit for the different organization or the people, etc. So then accordingly you can make some documentation. And once if you do this, that is a research topic, tentatively if you finalize, then accordingly you can do the extensive literature survey. And once if you do extension literature survey, then accordingly you can come to find out to find out the research gap, or what is the most important thing in the literature survey. Once if you find out the literature gap, and that literature gap or the some of the parameter you can identify, and you can extend those parameter into your research work, and accordingly you can prove that, or you can justify that your work is a little bit incremental as compared to the previous work. So that can be called as a good piece of the research, where the society or the other the stakeholders will be benefited because of your the research work. So then after literature survey, then you can collect the data, then you can use different methodologies, or you can do the different there are methods of doing the research are there. So that research methodology you can study, and you can carry out your research work. Now I'm going to focus on the literature review. Okay. Then what is the purpose of the literature review? So as I already said to you, that it is basically to determine if the proposed research is actually needed or not. If suppose somebody are taking some kind of the research only for the PhD, but if it is not needed, if already it is been done, so already a lot of the paper have been published in that particular area. So why that particular the research is required? The first important thing is that you check whether that proposed research is actually needed or not. So that you can find out based on the literature survey. If suppose I want to go to Sargate, so there are a lot of the path are available. If I don't know, then I am starting that I want to invent the path from Shivaji Nagar to the Sargate. But if I don't know what is the existing thing available, so what is purpose of my research? Whether my purpose of the research is that it will be satisfied or it will be fulfilled or not. So like you should know, because that is for that the literature review is required. Otherwise I am proposing something new and already those things are available, people will laugh on us or they will not accept the work. So therefore the proposed work is actually needed or not is the most important thing, and that you should validate or you should find out based on the literature review on the existing available work. Then another thing is that, so you take any topic. So a lot of people in the globe are doing their research work in all the areas. So therefore there are a lot of areas are there. In every areas there are some problems, some strengths, some weaknesses are there. So you should narrow down, because it is very broad area. Research is very broad area. If you take like the antenna, if you take signal processing, you take speech processing, you take IoT or the anything. So very all big areas are there. So you have to narrow down. So what exactly you want to do? So what exactly on what parameter or what are the performance measures of your research work? And there are many performance measures are there, and always there will be trade-off. It is not like that you are increasing performance of each and everything. So once if you try to increase, other will be that is a pop down. So definitely there will be trade-off. You have to focus depending on the application, which parameters are important, and that is called as the narrow down the problem. And that problem can be narrowed down. So based on the literature survey, from you can refer old paper to the latest paper, and you can come to know that how to narrow down problem, and you can come to the conclusion, yeah, this is the problem or this is the gap. So I can carry out my research work in this particular area. So narrow down is the important thing. Then generate hypothesis or the questions for the further studies. So you're able to develop the hypothesis, how you are going to carry out your research work. So what are the hypotheses? You should see that once if suppose I take undertake, so this will be my hypothesis. So this could be the probable solution. So that is called as the hypothesis. So at least you should develop that. I want to do this. So that is called as the hypothesis, or ask the questions for the further studies. So how to validate that hypothesis? So what kind of the research is required? What kind of the questions are there? You ask yourself. So accordingly, you will get some that is a rough path, and based on the rough path, so you by doing the right kind of your literature survey, so you can able to find out the exact problem. Because this literature survey, so whatever problem you are identifying, so this is based on the literature review. It is based on the existing work. So therefore, your problem is valid or not, that is based on the literature review. If you are not doing literature review and identifying or proposing the problem, but if there is no basis for that, so your problem may not be validated. I told you, now I want to find out the new path, but already so many paths are exist. So what, even I propose that I want to generate new path for this, then what is its use? But if you are doing, suppose paths are available, so how much traffic will be there, how much time will be required, so what are again the alternative ways are there, so many parameters will be there. So if you do that literature survey, even that finding the path from the surrogate to the Katras, so you can also propose some other, that is a parameter, and you can work on the parameter. So therefore that narrow down problem is a very important. Then background knowledge of the field study, of the field of inquiry. So background knowledge is also required. Directly, suppose I'm working in the area of the speech processing, so I should know signals in system, I should know the DSP, I should know basic fundamental of the human anatomy, I should know basic fundamental of the speech production system. Many things are there. So if you do literature survey, you will also come to know, you can gather the information about the background knowledge. The knowledge of the methodology. So what kind of the methodologies the people have used to carry out that research? So what type of the laboratories are required, what hardwares are required, or what softwares are required? So whether those facilities are available with you or not, whether can you continue those things or not. So even many people are doing the research in the foreign countries, so they have very advanced the modern tools and the equipments are available. So those are not available with us. Really, can we do, can we contribute, can we collect the data, can we generate the data? So all these things you will get from the literature survey. If you do literature survey, because in most of the signal processing or the image processing application, the gathering of the data is a very important. So there are many, if you refer the paper in detail, you can get the type that is a data set available, standard data set available. Sometimes nowadays, when you are sending paper to the standard journal, they are asking whether have you generated your own data set or not, have you validated your result on your own data set or not. So that is also the question, and how to generate the data set. So what kind of the data set are available, the people have carried out on which data set, whether your result are superior on those data set or not. So such all the methodologies, all information you will get from the literature review, that is going to give you the path for your research work. So as Kharat sir has rightly said, if you do this, that is a good literature survey, your 50% literature work is over. If you identify good problem, kind of the problem, your 75% of the research problem is over, and all remaining part is only of the providing the solution to research problem. This is of only the 25%. And this literature review is a continuous process. Now you took admission, for example, in 2020, and now you are going to complete your PhD in the 3 year, for example, 2024. But that what if you are proposing, and in the 2024, if anybody has proposed the solution for that, then there is no use for your research work. Then the paper will not accept, or the paper will not be published. So therefore, it is also the continuous process. Continuously, every year, every semester, you have to carry out the research work, because thousands of people are continuously doing research work in every areas. So you should just monitor, you should observe that particular literature review, and it is going to help you a lot. It is going to provide you software used for that, hardware used for that, then the performance measure for that, then the strength, their weaknesses, their hypothesis. So everything ready-made, a lot of things you will get from the literature review. So literature review is one of the most important component in your research work. Then why we should do the literature review? So you see, the first thing is it is a critical analysis of existing research. You should critical word is a very important. So you should go in detail. You should do the critical analysis of the existing research in your field. So it highlights both strength and the weaknesses of the existing research. So it does not mean that all the research which have been done are all good, extraordinary. There is a no scope. It is not like that. Always you take any area, there are some, that is a strength and the weaknesses are there. You have to identify what are strength, what are weaknesses, and what are you are going to propose. Then allows you to gain a critical understanding of your field, because you should understand fundamentals of that. So if I want to carry out some work on the brain, for example, I want to propose the solution for that is on the brain, some solution. So if I don't understand about the anatomy of the brain, then it is of no use. Somebody want to propose that they want to find out some, that is a EEG channels, so which will affect on the heart, which will affect on the particular organ of the human body. So therefore you should understand about that human anatomy. Then that critical understanding is important. Then you can propose the technical solution for that. So like critical understanding is important. You can gather a lot of theory from that. Then opportunity to think about what has been done in your field, opportunity to think about the similarities. Then sir, and the most important thing is about you have to identify the patterns in your existing work. You have to identify the trends in the existing work and also differences across the existing work. For example, in the speech processing, I'm doing the research. So you see the trend, because in the 1800 centuries, what the kind of the research was undertaken in the speech processing. In 1850, what kind of the research was taken. In the 1900th century, what was taken. 1950, then in the 2000, then the 2020, in the 2021. So because progressively the requirement are changing, the applications are changing. So you need to find out what are the trends. So why the people are taking that kind of the research work, because there is a scope exists. There are a lot of social applications are there, and previous research already that is now it is not useful for the present society. So depending on the requirement changes in the environment, so the research trends are also changing. You have to identify, and if you take the current topic, so that is definitely will give the lot of opportunity to propose the solution, which will be very much helpful for the society. You also should find out the patterns. So what kind of the pattern the people are using, so what the data set they're using, so how they're creating the database, what is the present status. So that also you need to identify, because the trends and patterns are the very important, and also differences across the existing research. So these people have done this kind of the research, other has proposed on so another topic. So many things are there, so that you have to find out, because here these were the pattern, trends, and the differences across the existing research work are very important. So because now when the people are that is putting the literature, there is a presentation. So just they are the copying abstract, or they're copying the conclusion and putting there in the presentation. So that is not the literature survey. Then I will tell you how to find out the pattern of the trends. Then identifying the strengths and weaknesses, you will be able to think about what yeah. So if your research is useful for the society, then only someone will make use of your research. Otherwise, it is not useful. So that also you should know whether it is needed or not. If it is needed, you can continue that work. And most important thing, the conclusion of the literature survey is to you have to identify the gap in the literature. So what is the existing gap? Everyone will ask. Even you are asking your UG student, you are asking PG student or the research student, what is the gap? The gap is the most important thing. So that is the outcome of your all literature surveys called as your the literature gap. And literature gap is going to give you the path. It is going to identify the problem. It is going to give you the methodology in the existing work and carry out your the further research work. So the literature gap is the most important thing. That include your strength, that include your weaknesses, that include your the methodologies, that include your the applications. So that is a gap is important. So accordingly, you have to find out strength, weaknesses, trends, pattern, and your that is a scope for the research work. So this is why the literature review is required. Okay. Now the literature review is basically it is nothing but a critical summary of all the published work on a particular topic. What is literature review? It is nothing but a particular that is 1 minute. Literature review is a critical summary of all the published work on a particular topic. So all already I have addressed all other things. It is also useful for the readers. It is also useful for the scientists. So literature review helps scientists as well as for the readers to carry out further research work. Then literature review, it is the process as well as the outcome. It is a process as well as it is the outcome. Literature review is a process as well as an outcome. So if you carry out in the scientific way, so that process you can complete it, that is a properly specifically. So you can able to find out the problems into that. Then literature review is also an outcome. So it appears as the final draft of your thesis, because it is contributing to one of the chapter. And literature as a process means it consists of your the thinking, it consists of critical thinking, it consists of critical reading, it consists of the critical writing. So this is a process. So if you go through it, that is a thinking, reading, and writing, you can complete it properly. And it is a continuous process till the completion of your research. Even completion is over, so the literature review will be there always. It will be the continuous process. Everywhere, every time there will be some gap or the weaknesses or limitations will be there. and you can able to overcome the limitations of this literature survey. The next is what is a critical thinking. So you should think that you have to ask some questions. So you said that in the particular domain, so what were the research aims of the paper or the book? So when you are referring any paper, so you should know what was the aim of that paper, what was the aim of that book. You should know, because if you cannot able to draw the conclusion, it is of no use. Nowadays, number of the pediatric journals are there. So a lot of people are publishing that is in unethical way. They're writing, copying anything, and they're publishing. And if you're referring those paper, it is not going to give you the the aims or the objectives or the conclusion or the research gaps from that you cannot identify. Therefore, you should believe on the standard publication. You should believe on the standard books. You should believe on the standard references. So that is going to give you the path. So whenever you are going to your guide, they're asking, yeah, you refer standard publication, you refer from Springer, you refer from the IEEE, you refer only from the journals, not from the conferences, or you refer from the standard conferences, because that work is validated. So that is justified by the renowned people or the reviewers in the world. So that work is some extent it is a right or that is a valid. So therefore that is the most important thing. But if you refer that pediatric journals, or that is such kind of the journal where it is not the reviewed properly and without that verifying or the justifying, it is being published. So that is very, very dangerous. So therefore, when you are going for the research, so referring the standard references are very important. You should find out what is the aim of the paper or the book. If the research aim is achieved or not, that also you should know. Then are there any problems with their methodology? That also you should find out, because we are carrying. Then was it the strong or the weak research model? So that also you should check. Then how will this research help with your own research work? That is the most important question. So you have to focus whether that research is going to helpful to you or not. Then what can you take from it? So what needs to be avoided? What are you doing differently? So these are the some thinking. So when you are referring a particular literature, you think about all these questions, and that is going to give you the path. So research literature review is not only just downloading. The guide will ask you refer 100 papers, just download and just writing something and telling that I have done the literature review. So that is not like that. You ask these questions. So really the most important thing, that how will this research help with your own research? So that is the most important question. Whether if that is going to help your research, then you consider as you are the one of the that is reference paper for your literature survey. Otherwise, it is of that is a not useful, more useful for you people. Then the critical, that is these questions are there. So you also should ask that the why you are going to carry out this literature review. So how does that particular the proposed model work? What's that is made up of? What's that for? What does that mean? But what the X says differently. How do you know? So what says who? What happens? So there are a lot of the questions are there. So you should ask these questions, and these questions are going to give you the path for your the further literature review or the good kind of the research work. So this is like the thinking is required. Then the another important thing is that you should find out what are the other that is the people who are doing research in your areas, because those are the from where you can find out best paper, or through those paper you are going to compare your the proposed solutions. So therefore this is important, that what are the key players in your area, or what are the sources for your research work. If suppose I am doing my research in the speech area, so there are some renowned journals are there in the speech area, where most of the work in the speech is published there. And if you refer those paper, you will get good kind of the resource. And from that, you can able to find out the literature gap, and you can able to identify the problem, and you can carry out your research work. So therefore, this is one of the most important, that is a stage in the literature review. That is, we can call it as in the first stage. Identify the key people in your field. Identify the key people in field and collect all relevant sources about your topic. If suppose that particular XYZ is doing research in your narrow area, you just download all the paper, you will get that is a good source of the research for your area. You will get a lot of material, and from that you can come to the conclusion. And also sources is important, whether that sources is from which public domain, whether it is from the government domain, whether it is from the commercial domain. So whether you need to refer the patents or whatever the sources are very important. You also should find out where you will get the literature for your particular area. Then ask yourself what research and the theory is there on my particular topic. What are the key sources? That is whether book, article, or only on the Google you are relying. There are so many other sources are there. You also have to find out other sources that is going to work as a catalyst for your research work. Who are the main theorists and the researchers in your area? That is also most important. There are some renowned people will be there, even the previous century, even this century also. So if you believe on their theories, so definitely it is going to speed up your research work. How has the topic or the problem been investigated over the time? That is also important. What was the problem that time? What was again the modification or the amendment made? So what is the modification or the amendment made now? So these are some, there is a number of the questions are there which you need to ask. And if you find out you are the people who are working in your areas and the good source of the resources, so that is going to help you people. And you have to ask that what you are going to do differently. That's the most important thing. So this is everything is there. So how your research work will be different from others. So what you are going to contribute, because mainly they will ask what are your contribution or the claims in your research area. So that also you have to find out and you can continue your work in that particular area. Then again, other question comes that all things are there. So this literature is like a sea. So thousand of you type anything in the Google, you will get thousand or millions of the document. Then how to read, whether to read all the documents? So you see, so everything, because you see that you should not get the burden or the pressure of this literature review. So where to start is important. You don't need to read everything. It is not required to read each and every page of the book, or it is not required to read every paper. It is not required to read every document. So just you have to identify the right kind of the document. And if you read the right kind of the document, then you can start your work. You don't need to read every text. You don't need to read every word in that particular paper. The first you need to see the abstract. First you need to see the conclusion, whether it is matching to your the main domain or the broad domain, then it narrow domain. So accordingly, you can narrow down and find out the sum of the base paper, find out the parameter, and you can identify the paper, and you can do extensive review in that particular narrow area, and you can identify the problems. Then main ideas or the debates are also important, so that you also should do the self-analysis on your the particular research work. So how has the topic or the problem been defined? So whether you have found the trend and the patterns, whether what are the agreement or the disagreement in your areas are the important, and what are the different methodologies are used. So accordingly, you can summarize, and this you can consider as your the base or the direction for your research work. Because when you are going to any guide, so guide are not giving you all the directions. So just they will show you the path that you refer this paper or you make the literature review of this. So based on that, he is drawing the conclusion and guiding you people. So therefore, the literature review is a main important thing that will also help guide to take right decision or to guide you properly. So therefore, if you do good literature review, the guide will also, that is again, he will be encouraged and he will be motivated and he can able to guide you properly. So therefore, this finding this, because only just collection of the information, presenting anything, again, based on that, the guide will make judgment. But if you refer the good kind of the standard resources, so that also you will get the good directions from your the research guides or the supervisor also. Then this is one of the example of the research trends or the pattern we can call it as. So this is I have referred one of the standard conference in the speech signal processing area. So this is how you have to find out from the last 10 year or the 20 year, the people are, how many percentage of the people are doing research in which areas. For example, if you look here, the significant research is being carried out in the area of the speech enhancement. It is being carried out 11% in the echo cancellation. It is being carried out in the, that is a signal suppression, like 9%. So it means that these are the hot topics, or these are the current areas where a lot of people or a lot of demand is there in this for the society or for the organization for the commercialization. So if you find out the problem from these areas, that is going to speed up your, that is a research, your research work. And also it will increase the possibilities or the probability of accepting paper in the standard journals. So if you look, because this will be the trend, because what the people are doing, if they are going in, suppose for example, now a lot of jobs are available in the data science, they are available in the IoT. And suppose now I am studying like the EDC and etc. I have the great knowledge in that area. So definitely that knowledge will be useful, but there will be less opportunity will be available to you. A lot of theories have been published in that. But if you do something differently in the latest areas, so that latest areas of the trend you can find out by doing such kind of the analysis. It is not like that I have referred the like suppose 100 paper, just I will put name of the paper and write some summary into that. So that is not going to help you to, that is a, to draw the conclusion from that. You see from this only the figure, it will give you the conclusion. Yeah, these are the trends going in the research area. So therefore I have selected, you can justify to your supervisor or you can justify to your the research center that because this is the trend, all the latest paper the people are doing research in this area, or these are the prominent application. So therefore I have undertaken this problem. The first question will be in your during the that why you have undertaken this particular research problem. So you can show the trend. So they will believe, yeah, you are right, because this is the best for your the justification or the presentation. So whatever you are talking during your presentation, so there should be some base. So you are drawing some conclusion. If suppose I'm telling that this particular parameter, there is a problem in the, that is a power consumption. So why there is a problem consumption? You do such kind of some graphical representation. You show I have referred this 10 paper, standard these publications, and this author says like this. You show the statistical figures or the statistical or the numerical values. So that will give you the base. Then people again, they will be the happy and they will guide you further in that particular direction. So therefore trend and pattern are the most important thing in your research areas. So this is see how the trend happens. So now this is some, that is for the journal. I say International Conference on the Signal and the Speech Processing, one of the most standard conference in the speech and the signal processing. It happens only once in a year in the world. So there is very acceptance rate is also the 4 to 5% in the world. You see the trend here. So the people are doing the audio coding now in the latest year. So there is a trend is going in the audio coding. It means there is a prominent scope is available into that. So if you are going that very less paper are submitted in the other areas, it means definitely there will be less scope will be available. So that you have to find out the trend. So you find out for all paper, you see, you that classify all your the paper like audio coding, echo cancellation, or the any whatever areas are there. So from that you can come to draw the conclusion or come to identify the problem from the literature survey. This is also some like the historical trends. You can see from the last 100 years how the trend is going on, how the trend is changed, how the many papers are submitted. So these are the important things. Then next, this is about all the literature review. So once if you do the literature review, then the most important thing is about how to write the literature review, because that is going to contribute one of the important chapter in your thesis. And it is going to prepare your the documentation, which is the very important thing, because there is also the systematic method of writing the literature review. So the what is a review article? Basically, the review article is a type of secondary literature, because this is not a primary, these are not our inventions. So this just we have taken, that is a references of the published paper, and based on the published paper, we are putting the reviews of the published paper, that is called as a review article, and that talks about the previously published work. You keep in mind that talks completely about the previously published work. It is not our own conclusion or the invention. So it is systematically how to put the published work. So review article, the give an overview of the existing literature in the field, and often identifying specific problem or issues and analyzing information from the available published work. So in your literature review, you have to put that what are the limitations, what are the problems, what are the methodology, what are the databases used, so what are the parameters. So that you have to put into your the review article. There are different type of review articles are there, like the literature review, analysis are there. Now we are going to focus on the literature review. So this review can be written in the two methods. One is called as the chronological. These are the standard method. One is a chronological literature review. Another is called as a thematic literature review. So the chronological approach, it describes each work in the succession, like in the ascending order. So what is the first published work, older work, then up to the latest, that is a field. So accordingly, you can put your that is a conclusion or the remarks on your the literature review. That is called as a chronological approach. And starting with the earliest or the old one to the newest one is called as a chronological approach. And here these are the tips given. I will not go into detail. Then this is a thematic approach. So basically in the thematic approach, so you are that is a making a group of your the paper of the similar work, and accordingly you are drawing the conclusion. It is not in the chronological like the old and the last, but you are making groups like this is a echo cancellation, this is a your the signal separation, or this is your the speech recognition or the speaker recognition. You make the group of the papers, and based on that you can put the remarks based on their all conclusion. So it organize and discuss existing literature based on the themes or the theoretical concept you feel are important to understand the topic. So that is called as the thematic approach. Then this, what is the structure of the literature review? The structure, it basically when you're writing literature review, it consists of the introduction, then the method, body, discussion, and the conclusion. So accordingly, you can write and what the introduction should consist of. So that is set of some context should be there. You provide the information about the field of study, then the relevance of the chosen topic with the field and focus on the literature review into this, that why you are focusing, what is the need of this particular study. You can put. Then here are the methods. What are the different methods have been used in the literature review? Then here the body, that's the chronological model or the thematical model. In that way, you can put the body. Then you can put your the conclusion or the remarks into that. Then this is a structure like writing the review paper is abstract, introduction, methods, result, discussion, and the conclusion. And in your webinar series, some of the resource persons are going to cover how to write review paper or how to write the scientific journal or the conference paper in detail. Will not go in detail into this the organization of the literature review and making links big, because these are very important. So when you're drawing the conclusion, you have to make the links, that there may be some agreement or the disagreement will be there. So there are some standard word that you have to use. So similarly, author B points like the author A, or likewise the author C makes the conclusion or the case studies of this, or author D also makes this particular point because already author A, B, C have also made that particular point. Again, because these are the connecting verbs or the connecting words are there, which are very important, and it help you to put your remark very smoothly or transient from the one author to the another author. So while writing paper, that is the words are very important. You understand about these words, and that help you to link, because directly abruptly or not jumping from the one paper to another paper, or not chronologically or this, but you should make some linking between the statement. If there is no linking between the research, because some of the person has carried out research in the speech processing, another in the echo cancellation. So both if are not making any judgment, then there is no use of literature survey. It will not be proper. So in your particular narrow area, so whatever paper you are collecting, they should be from your domain, and accordingly you should make the linking of all the papers from the one author to the another author, and you have to use such kind of the words in your the review chapter. Then disagreement also will be there. So in that you have to use like the however, you have to use the conversely or the nevertheless. So it will make your paper more attractive and more readable, and there will be more chances of accepting your paper will be there in the conference or the journals. Then another important thing is about the summary table is the most important thing, because you have carried out a lot of research, you have reported 100 paper or the 50 papers, but you could not find out the trend, you cannot narrow down, and only just putting the summary of all 100 or the 200 paper. So what the conclusion you can draw from that? You cannot able to draw the conclusion, because you also should be very smart while preparing the table. So just you have to highlight the most important the areas of your problem, or narrow area of the problem, that is only give to you the conclusion. So while preparing the summary table, you highlight on the main base papers which are going to give you the direction, or you are going to get the guidance from those papers. So accordingly, it may consist of the author, type of study, or the sample design, data collection, then the key finding and their limitations or the remark or some parameter like you can prepare. So this is one of that is the summary table. So which consists of the citations, like which consists the author name and in which year it is published, or the sample, how many samples were used in that, what kind of the environment it was, what kind of the methods they have used, what was the conclusion, or even you can write again the remark or the strength, weaknesses, some field can also be added. And by looking at this summary table, so you can come to draw some conclusion for the research work. Then citation styles are there, many citation styles are there. Some are, because these are two, because there are again other citation styles are there. So depending on your requirement and journal, you can choose the citation style. But when you are that is putting the conclusion of some of the authors, so you can put in the form of the information prominent citation, because information is important. I can highlight the information, or here you can highlight the author first. So depending, there are many methods are there. You can refer these citation styles, and these are some reporting verbs before which you need to use while writing the literature review, like the argue, assert, assume, challenge, etc. So you can get these things from from Google's, etc. And whether to use the present tense, whether to use the past tense, whether to use the perfect present tense or the perfect past tense. So there is also some theories available. So that also I will not go in the detail in this, because writing literature review is, it is a big, there is many that grammar things are there. So you can also go in detail, you can understand about this. So how to write, how to present, because that will increase the chances of accepting your papers. And that grammatically and typographically your paper should be, that is a perfect, or it should be correct. Otherwise, if there are the grammatical mistakes are there, and if there are the typographical papers are there, so in the first page only your paper will be rejected. Or even your thesis goes to your the evaluation to some of the expert, and they first will that give the remark that there are a lot of typographical and the grammatical errors are there, so the thesis cannot be accepted. So they will not go in the detail, because it should be readable, it should be interesting, it should be attractive. So for that you need to study some, that is a your the grammar, because most of the time we are writing over the thesis in English. So you should have some good knowledge, not the or the all English knowledge, but the technical English knowledge is important. So the tenses plays an important role, how to write, how to put. So you can go into detail into this. I will not go all in all these things. In writing process, like first will be the rough draft, again the final draft, again you can edit 2-3 times, then you can make your the final manuscript ready for the publication to the conferences or your journal or for your the thesis. So a lot of the exercise you have to do on that. You would also have to show to your the colleagues, and you have to take the feedback from them, and it is going to, that is a make your the quality that article. So accordingly there in your you should show to others. So you should find out the clarity, whether the flow is correct or not, whether it is a complete the all literature review has put into this or not. So these are some of the factors. And good literature review, it should be the focused, it should be concise, it should be logical, it should be developed, and it should be the integrative. So these are some of the characteristics of the good literature review. So if you go in detail, you can understand the slowly. Then pitfalls you should understand, because what could be the probable problem, that there should not be vagueness due to much or the inappropriate generalization. So you should not write in general, because there should be some conclusion should be drawn. When I'm referring a particular literature review, that there should be a lot of citations, because people should attract towards your that literature review. Yeah, really it is good and it is giving a lot of things. So there should not be so much general that if anybody is not getting from that, so you cannot able to increase the citations into that. So no vagueness or no more general. So you just be specific to your problem. Then you also the limited range. So it is not like that the only few papers are referred. So there are also limited number of the papers should be there. There should not be any insufficient information, irrelevant material, omission of the contrasting views, because that is definitely there is argument will be there, agreement, disagreement, that also you have to put. Everything is not absolutely correct. Then omission of the recent work. So because they will ask what was the latest paper referred in your the published work, or what was the latest paper referred in your research work. So that will be the probable question. So you should not omit it. So even somebody tell you that this is the written in that paper, and it does not mean that that is your that researcher is a superpower and absolutely everything is right. So you have the right to justify, you have to right to justify that reject that work, or you can make your conclusion that that work is not right or the not wrong. So it depends. So therefore it is not like that whatever the published work is, everything is correct, because you have to find out, it is your duty to justify whether that is right, wrong, or what are the your performance measure parameters. So many things that you can find out. Then common errors which happens in reviewing your the literature, you are doing a lot of hurrying. That is through that you review get the started could mean that you will miss something that will improve your research. So sometimes we will be very hurry. Only we will refer only few papers, and the pediatric journals we will use. So that will be in much hurry, because within 8 days, 10 days, we are doing literature survey and identifying the problem. So it is not, because it requires your the 6 months to 1 year, even 2 to 3 year literature review is required. So even you are not taken admission, or so you are not done your the research, so you can identify problem by doing literature review, and you can continue now also in the particular area. Relying too heavily upon secondary sources. So there are some other sources, you should not rely heavily on that. So you also should refer other number of things are there, like the magazines are there, the articles are there, blogs are there. So you also should look into that. Some academic journals are there. So don't rely on only some sources. So you need to compare with other sources also. Searching too broad or the too narrow of a topic is also the problem, because it should be from the broad, you should make it from the broad to narrow, then you can able to make a good comment. And inaccuracy in the compiling of the bibliographic information, because according to the ethics, so whatever the references you are using, so you should make the bibliographic information of all the authors, because they have contributed, they have spent their life in that particular research work. If you are referring something from them, so it is the ethically or the morally, so you should cite that particular paper in your research work. Otherwise, what happens, we are taking something from where and only will write 4 to 5 paper in the bibliography, because whatever you have done, whatever you have referred, so the bibliographic information is a very important. And that is from the bibliographic, your evaluators or the supervisor are making conclusion whether you have done good kind of literature survey or not, whether you have identified problems or not. So final checklist for this is choose the right topic, check the literature you have chosen properly or not, notes you have to take, decide the format, keep focus on the specific interest or the narrow area, analyze. Then these are some of the checklist will be there. It means that a literature review is a continuous process. It is not something you do now and forget about your field. It is not like that. It is a constantly evolving and changing. So it is resulting into that is a more and the more that is a good research work. So always it is not like if it is done previously, you can add. If I have done again the research, somebody can take my problem again, they can add some into that. So always it is resulting into your that is a your the good your the research work. So it is a continuous process. So till the end of your the research or even after research also, so that is literature review will be there, you can continue your work. So accordingly, you take it as a challenge, consider it the positively, and you should contribute positively, ethically, morally into your into your the research problem, so that you can result into some good solution and which will be useful for the society or the nation. Now this is about the writing the research review, as it is continuous process. And there is also the research review, that is a collection of the information is important, because there are a lot of in the Google you type, you cannot get the good kind of or the proper kind of the journal or the source, so which need to be referred for your the research work. So there is also the scientific method. So quickly I will go through it, you might know some of these things. One is important source is a Google, but Google is not giving anything, it is like the sea. So it is diverting from your topic to the other topic also. So like again, here if you write in the Google, like you will get the some information, but not, it is very broad information you will get from the Google directly. But if you write like if you want only PDF file, you write the file type PDF. Then you write the topic, you will get only the PDF files, so which you want to refer. If suppose you want to refer like the PDF, then you want to refer only PPT, you write the file type PPT, write the type your the research problem, then you will get the PPTs on your areas. And if you want the document only, you write the file type .doc : then your problem, you will get the documents which will be useful for you people. Then if you write year, if you want a PDF file from the particular year, so you can mention year. So like the 2014, you will get a paper from 2014. You can narrow down your research areas, because Google, there are a lot of techniques of searching techniques are there in the Google also, that you need to identify. Then you want only the thesis of the published work, so you can write the file type PDF thesis, you will get the thesis. Like again another in the Google also, so if you want to refer scientific paper, so the Google Scholar is another source. So you write the Google, in the Google you type Google Scholar, the Google Scholar will open and it will search the scientific articles in your particular areas. For example, if you look into this, if you write, you see the include patents, include the citations, then anytime from the which year, so that you can select. And accordingly, the main scientific paper can be referred through the Google Scholars. It is not the broad or the general. So now you will narrow down to the technical problem through the Google Scholars. Then in the Google Scholar also, so there is there is again option is there. So you want to select that in this window, you can specify the exact name of the article you want, or the author specifying the range of the year. So that is where the which words occur. So what at least one words which you need. So with the exact phrase you want. So that perfectly. So the name of the author you can also put, and that kind of the paper you can find out in the Google Scholar also. It will save the time for the searching of the paper through the Google Scholar. So like you can write So this type of the search will narrow down the article which is suitable for us. So like you can mention year, so you can mention the date, you can sort by the date. So many options are there. You also should go in detail. You also should do the literature survey in the searching, and that is going to save you a lot of time for your research work. Then another source is the Web of Science, because mostly we will believe only in the on the Google. So Web of Science, you can register, and accordingly by writing your the email address, retyping, you can create the password, and it will open your the Web of Science. And this kind of the window will be opened if you can write this your the problem. So such kind of your the window will open where you can refer the full text or the abstract, and that will be very much helpful for doing the research work in the areas. So all this is, you can also see the this, and another, this is also some of you know or may not know, because this SCI hub is one of the most important source for the scientific papers. So a lot of literatures which you cannot find out in Google Scholar, you cannot find out in the Google, you can find out through SCI hub. Again, in the SCI hub there are a lot of other the links are there. So if you can find out any paper in the world, can also be that even it is protected, so you can able to find out the paper through the SCI hub. So this is, you type the SCI hub, and in that you can like it such kind of the SCI hub will come on the screen, on the top screen. Then you can write your the subject or the areas, then accordingly, so such kind of your the paper will be opened which are related to your work. It will not be more generalized, it will be related to your areas. So this is again the www.scihub.com .scihub.cc if you write. So accordingly, if you write that is a digital object identifier, or the title of the paper directly, the paper from your the elsewhere or the Science Direct, so it will be available to you people. Sometimes even they are the protected. So like you can open such kind of the paper. So like the link you should know, you should work in the SCI hub. So like another library Genesis is there, where all only scientific articles are there. So you can narrow down your more search, that is about the author, year, the many things, many options are there. So you can do your research in this area also. That will help your time for doing the literature survey. So like the library Gen is the source. You can download a lot of papers through this. See, such kind of your options are there. So you can do like this. And these are some of the important links for downloading or searching your scientific papers. Library Gen, then the gen.library.rus.tc, scihub.ac, library Gen. So when you suppose work with the researcher in the industry organization, so they will guide you properly, because they have worked for many years in searching the document. So there is also the proper way of searching the document is there, that also you need to understand, and that is going to help you a lot to save your time or the save your money, and you can get a lot of literature, lot of documents through these all the important work. And I hope it will be very much useful to you people for searching the documents. Even sometimes we cannot get good that is a relevant document. So there are the many Facebook groups are there. So if you are still not able to find the paper, you can request in this group, or the request your paper in the following Facebook groups, so that you will get faster response. That so many things are there. So you have to work out in all these areas. You can find out the right kind of the document or the literature, and you will do good literature review. So I think this is all about that is a talk on how to do literature review, how to write the literature, the review, then how to search the papers. So I think, I hope it is very much helpful to you, and I wish you good luck for your literature review. And I think you can speed up your work, PhD or the research work, wherever you are. It may be in the any field, and this will definitely help you people, and you can get some input from this. You can also get, there are so many other sources are there. So if you identify, so that will properly guide you for the literature review. And if you do literature review, 50 to 70% of research work will be completed here only. So therefore, doing the research is not a big or the difficult task, but the literature review is the most important task to undertake the problem, identify the literature gap, and definitely it will speed up your work, and you can complete in the stipulated time. So thank you everyone for the patience listening. And if you have any questions, we'll take some of the questions in this session.
Participants, if you are having any doubt, you can ask the question, sir.
Chintan sir, please provide the participant to unmute themselves, this facility to unmute themselves, or ask them to put their questions in the chat box.
Yes, sir. Participants can unmute themselves.
Yeah, you can unmute and you can also ask the question.
Hello.
Yeah. Sir.
Oh, good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Good morning, Prakash, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, the one question for you.
Yeah.
Actually, many times what happened, we are trying to find out so many things because surveys available, the literature is available worldwide on the internet.
Yeah, right.
But it's very much difficult, sir, for researchers how to effectively present this survey in our current existing research work. So, sir, can you please give some tips for this?
Yeah. See, mainly when you are going to present your literature review, so as I have told in my that is a talk, so you have to find out the patterns, or you have to find out the trend in the research. The first thing that you see out of 1,000 paper, so this percentage of the people are doing research in your particular areas, so which is required for the society, or there are a lot of commercial applications are there in that particular area. So that first you find out the trend, because then the supervisors or the examiners will believe that you have identified right kind of problem, because identifying the trend is very important. And that you also should mention that while identifying trends, you have referred the standard papers or the standard journals, because in every area there are some standard conferences or the standard journals are there who are contributing in that particular domain. And if you have referred those particular journals or the scientific papers, and from that you are finding the trend, it means that that path is absolutely, it is correct, and you are in a right direction in your research work. And if you refer all those the trends and the areas, and in that also you can find out what are the existing problems, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are the trade-offs of the different values, and what kind of the research is required in that particular domain. So accordingly, within 4 to 5 slides, the perfectly you can put your the literature review, and also you can prepare a summary table of your the literature work in your that specifically in your narrow areas, and that will again increase the confidence of yourself, and that will also help researchers to guide you further in that particular area. Because trend is very important, trend or the pattern in the research is very important. Then your the strength, weaknesses, gaps, methodologies, data set. So you should work in that area, and what is exactly needed, what you want to do, you ask question, you create the hypothesis, and you ask question to validate that hypothesis. So that you have to put in your the presentation or even the literature review. So that will, I think, guide for everyone from the literature point of view.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. And sir, the second question is about, as you said, research is a continuation process, and but after doing some delta change, as you said, the existing knowledge can be updated.
Right.
So finally, how to validate such your existing knowledge with the new technology?
See, suppose in the 2000, now in the September 2020-21, you are submitting your thesis. So till this time, so you should check what the things are not available, what your research is different from the existing work. If your research is different than the existing work, means you have contributed something delta into the existing research, and that your job will be over. Because later on, it is not like that the research is a continuous process. because if you might be busy in some other work, or some researcher are interested to take out your problem, so they can continue in that area, they will add into that, because it is a continuous evaluation of the number of generations will be there, because the requirement will increase, so the scenario will change, the environment will be different, there will be different challenges will be there every time, so that you have to address those challenges. Now this era in the 2021 in your research area, if these are the challenges, you try to address those, because in the next year or next after 10 years the challenges may be different in your area, so the people will try to address those challenges. So when you are submitting that this time, so your work should be different or distinguished from the others, then that is your the delta contribution into that. Or previously, now suppose because we are not like Einstein, we will get Nobel and something, we will do the invention, so it is not possible for us because we are the engineers, so it is very less probability because we have to spend a lot of years to make the invention, but we are adding some, that is a delta, into the existing research. So therefore, depending on our the limitations, so up to whatever the time you are continuing your research, that time when you are submitting, so that time your work should be different, and there should be some addition or some improvement you are in some of the parameter into the existing work depending on your application, because every application does not require improvement in all the parameters. So you have to focus on some parameter performance measure, and if those are improved and that is helpful for the particular application, that is a good piece of research, because it is every time not that that time you cannot after submission, so other person can also continue because they might be doing research work in that areas, so later on also if they submit or they will publish the paper, so that may be better than you, but it does not mean that you have not done good piece of research. But up to that time, whatever time you are spending in the research work, so there should be some contribution, delta contribution in your existing work, so that I will call it as a good piece of the research.
Thank you very much, sir. And your session is really very informative and useful for all the researchers.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Sir, there are 4 or 5 questions on the chat box.
Yes, sir. You can take. Someone of you can read the question from chat box. Yes, sir.
Madam.
Hello, sir.
Yes, madam. Yes.
Sir, first question is Mr. Ganesh Abhare. Can you explain the concept research gap again?
See, research gaps is that if suppose existing research is there, so in the existing research there will be some limitations will be there, because some of the research gaps means, for example, to quote some example, if suppose I am doing research in suppose musical instrument classification, I have done the research, okay, in the musical instrument classification. So in the musical instrument classification, some or most of the researchers have carried out research in only the feature extraction method, okay, and accordingly they have validated, that is identification of the musical instruments. And suppose I want to propose instead of that feature extraction, I can validate this by using some model or the mathematical model. So instead of extracting feature, if I model that particular musical instrument with the help of mathematical model, so you can tell that in the feature extraction there is a lot of time is required for the feature extraction. It is the time consuming and it is a very costly. So these are the 2 parameters which you can call it as a research gap, and you want to address that, you want to identify musical instrument, so in the less time and with the less cost. So for that you can propose the solutions. So basically research gap is about the comparison of performance measures. So there will be performance measure because this research, so these are the performance measures, but for the present work or the present scenario, so the parameters should be improved, and that to improve that parameter, you can address the research problem. So that we can call as a research work, research gap.
Okay, sir. The second question is, how much time required to publish a technical paper in unpaid journal?
See, it depends on quality of your work. If the quality of your research work is good, you can publish within 1 month also. And also, it should in the recent trends. If as I told you, what is the recent trend going on, a lot of people are doing the research in the particular area. So accordingly, they will the journal also will see the whether it is matching to that particular domain or not, and if it is matching, so it will they will consider your paper for that particular journal, and they will send to the reviewer, and it is contributing into the recent areas. So immediately it will be published. Nowadays, a lot of paper have been published into your on the COVID that is a analysis or the COVID solutions on that. So very within 1 month also the unpaid journal are published in the SCI listed journal also. It depends on your the quality of work, the quality of research, your contributions. If it is innovative, so it will publish the immediately. It depends, but generally, if you look at the SCI listed journals, so at least you will get first review after 3 to 6 months. It depends. It is varies from the journal to journal. We cannot say that it will require 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, or some journal may take also the 3 to 4 years also. It depends type of that journal. And there if you look at that journal information, they will publish paper yearly, some publish monthly, some paper publish bi-monthly. So it depends on that. Even you have to study every journal, so you can see their citations, acceptance rate. So many informations are there related to journal. Based on that, you can find out which is the right kind of journal where it will publish that is within a short span of the time. If you look there, the date of acceptance, date of publication will be there. From that you decide. So it varies from journal to journal. It is based on your the kind of research work, contribution, or the way of writing, etc. It is not like objective. I cannot say it is 1 month or 6 months. It is a subjective based on your work.
Sir, in our chat box, next question is, can you explain how to bring novelty in work?
The novelty you can bring only from the research gap. You can identify a good research gap, then you can bring novelty into that. Because already if the work is done in an existing thing, and again you are presenting the same thing, there will not be novelty. If your work is something different from the existing work, that is called as a novel work. And also if it is useful for the society, it will be accepted immediately. Novelty can be done based on the requirement in the requirement for the society, or the commercialization of the product in the market. So you are providing good solution, then we can call it novelty. So this requires a lot of thinking, and you are the working in that particular domain, and automatically that novelty will come into that area.
Thank you, sir. Sir, next question is, how we can find best Scopus journal for a review paper?
Best Scopus journal papers. See, there are thousands of papers are there in the Scopus, thousands of paper in the SCI listed journal, UGC care journals are there. So I told you, so you have to find out first what is the narrow area, and from the narrow area, you search the paper which are the published in the different journals. If frequently your area is published in the particular Scopus journal, so that is a good kind of the that is a journal for your research work, where you can publish or you can refer those papers, because every journal's areas are defined. Some journals are defined in the IoT, some journals are for the signal processing, some are the speech processing, some are the antenna. So like all journal are the different from each other. Some journal are the multidisciplinary, but when you are going to publish your paper in the scientific journal, you have to find out the area, and most of the paper or the literature you are referring are from that papers, or most of the work is published in that particular area. So that accordingly you can find out.
Thank you, sir. Sir, next question, Mr. Amol Bhosle ask here to please tell us unpaid journal list for research publication.
See, it is very difficult. There are thousands or millions of journals are there. In every country are publishing their own journals. So you have to find out from your area. So that you have to do. It is not so easy that I will give you the list of the unpaid journals. So you have to search, go to that journal site, you check whether it is a open source or it is a paid journal or the unpaid journal. So you should do the research in that area. So only just you see. So you put your topic, your paper, that topic is available into that journals. So you list out the name of those journal, and you go to that journal website. From that you have to find out, because unpaid journal is not applicable to every area. So every journal are domain specific. So you have to find out that journal from your domain, and from that you have to find out whether it is unpaid or the paid. Some of the journal are previously they were unpaid, now they have become paid also. So that is dynamically they are changing. So that dynamically how to check it.
Thank you, sir. I think question is over.
Ma'am, one question. Hello, sir. Prashul Kamde here.
Yeah, please.
Hello, sir. I want to ask how old paper should be taken for review. Actually, during presentation, expert or guide used to ask that you have to take 5-year papers from last 5 years and all. But sometimes I found that 10 or 15 years old paper, they were so descriptive, means most of the things are written in very detailed manner over there. So how to use that paper and how to cite those paper into our review paper?
So as I told you, there are the two methods of writing your literature review. One is called as the chronological, and another is a thematic. So based on how your topic is old, because some of the topics are there are no paper available in the that is a 10-year before, but it means that you cannot able to take the paper that is a old 10-year before that. But there are some fundamental concept of the theory have been published in the some of the papers related to your area. Some paper you can take. So, and remaining paper you can take from the 10-year-old, or some topics some people are doing the research because there is no much papers are available. So you can take like the 5-year paper, and you can refer some the literature related to that from your the previous papers also, even that is not directly related to your narrow area, but the main area or the main theme of that problem may be published in the some other papers, so that you can take. So generally, I think you should consider 10 to 20-year paper, that is a literature review, and you should explain how progressively your research problem has changed. So that it depends, because it is not like that you are referring from the 50 years old or the 40 years old. Even you are referring, so just you can write that from this 5 or the 5 paper, the trend was like this. In the next 10 years, the trend changed to this particular area. So again, the next year, the trend is like this, and presently the trend is like this. So there you can mention the papers. So it depends on the availability of your research paper or in your particular domain. So if the paper are available from the 50 years, so just at least you have to address the research trend from the 50 years to present. If the trend is there only from the 10-year, so you more focus on the last 10-year paper, or only in the 5-year, you can focus on the 5-year. So it depends on the availability of literature in your particular domain. So based on that, you can consider. And as I told you, it is not required to read each and every paper from the literature. So which papers are the important? So based on the abstract and the conclusion, you can decide whether it is suitable for your topic or not. So you can shortlist only some of the paper and you can address. So like this is the paper which was published in the 2000, suppose it is 2010. So accordingly you can write. It is a subjective, so it depends on your problem and the availability of the literature in your area. So generally you should consider 10 to that is a 20 years, because the trend have been changed, and in only last 4 to 5 years what the work has been done. So generally you should consider for your literature review or the identify problem from the recent trends, so which are most useful for the society. It is subjective, depends on availability of the literature.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Such an informative session. I request to all participants, please on your video for photo session. Dear participants, on your video. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. I request to Neeta ma'am to give vote of thanks. Hello, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, all of you. On the behalf of Saraswati College of Engineering, I, Professor Nita, would like to thank speaker, Dr. D.G. Bhalke sir, for such a wonderful and informative session on how to do literature survey. Your session is very helpful to us, sir. I would like to thank our principal, Dr. G.U. Kharat sir, to motivate us and even guided us to organize such a webinar. I would like to thank Mr. M.D. Chinchole sir, Head of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering Department and Student Development Officer, Mr. Sunil Khata sir, Head of Computer Engineering Department, and Mr. Sachin Jadhav sir, Head of Mechanical Engineering Department, to organize such an informative webinar. I would like to thank all teaching and non-teaching staff of Sharat Chandra Pawar College of Engineering, Otur. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants for participating in this webinar. Thank you again for truly memorable morning. We hope you can join us again in future. Have a nice day. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, madam. Shall I leave the meeting now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.